Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Drew Story News podcast. And I am exhausted. I pulled an all-nighter. Let me take these off. These are not prescription. These are for blue light. Because when you're working on in front of computer screens and laptops and phones, and it's good to kind of have that. It helps. I feel like it helps. But yeah, I pulled an all-nighter. I literally did not sleep. I slept a little bit, like hour here and there, but I had deadlines and they had to get done. One of the good things about this industry I work in is that you do what you want. I work when I want. I'm my own boss, but sometimes you have deadlines, especially if you work in radio and television. You got to get things done, and I'm still helping some of the people in my life understand this concept that I am a man with a business and sometimes things have to get done. So you don't have all this time to sit around and do this and do that. And, it's the blessing and the curse of a freelancer. People just don't understand what you do and how you do it. And energetically, like you have to. It's not like, I work at a bank or I work at Staples, I have to perform. Like sometimes I sing, sometimes I do music, sometimes I'm acting a role, sometimes I'm playing a witch. I'm doing crazy voices every day. I'm fortunate as a voice actor to work every single day. And, that's not everyone can't say that. So I'm very fortunate, but working every day is demanding. You have to be in character. Sometimes most of the jobs are boring, long jobs, infomercials, e-learning courses. And I got to wake up every morning and do that. And so I have to have some reserve in the tank. So kind of been struggling with that just a little bit with, friends and family and people in my life to kind of understand my capabilities and limitations as far as time is concerned. Because they think you're home or they think you have time for this or to go on this Zoom or this talk for an hour. And it's just a little bit of a struggle, but it's all good. We're getting there. But I digress. There's so much to talk about. Today I'm going to be talking about the Hegelian Dialectic, with good reason. Before I get to that, what were people talking about? Ketanji Brown. Yeah, it's so sad to see people still stuck in the matrix and, people looking at this as some kind of victory, Black people looking at this as some kind of victory when it's not a victory. This is, if anything, this is more symbols of mental enslavement. I mean, someone of color being voted into the system. And they're celebrating first still. Black people have been robbed of their history and they don't know the empires that they ran for thousands of years. And we get a whitewashed, Eurocentric version of history where we know nothing, including dominant society people. We don't know history. We don't know anything. We don't know what happened. And so much has been robbed of us. And they celebrate something as insulting as, the first Black female supreme voted into this evil system where she's not going to do anything for you or me or anyone. The woman can't even tell you that she's a woman or what a woman is like. And they're clapping, and it's just, this is where we're at. And on the Democratic side of the fence, they're not doing this to reward or help the Black community. They're doing this strategically to keep Black people there, emotionally. Keep their loyalty to the party. Joe Biden rolls out his women. You're getting pimped. It's so obvious. This is for voting. This is for, symbolic. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to talk about reparations seriously. Anyways, they're not going to really do things that are really, a lot of this focus on LGBT and feminism, and now Asians, they started lying about things in the media for the Asians. A lot of this deflection to other groups is so that they don't do things for Black people. And people don't realize it. It goes that deep. It's shocking. But yeah, this is modern day COINTELPRO. Focus all this energy on all this other stuff. Immigrants, who else? So Ukrainians, refugees, who else do we got? The liberals are going to jump on everything so that everyone's exhausted, so that everyone doesn't really care about all this liberal woke, belly rubbing of all these communities, so that Black people get lost in the mix and in the shuffle. But the real issues that America contends with is mass incarceration, police brutality, and so many issues that Black people are the real people in need of, revolution and assistance. But the system knows that. The system does not want to change. Slavery never ended. It just keeps evolving. And this is one of their tactics. It's coming from the blue side. I'm not a conservative. They have their own tricks and schemes. I'm not endorsing any party. They're both evil. And they both serve the beast and the machine. But the blue team is worse. And people, just can't wake up. They just can't wake up and realize the game. And they don't want to. So many people posting her pictures. It's insulting. Her speech was insulting, invoking Martin Luther King and Maya Angelou and, all these liberal people. They become so Black all of a sudden. Nothing that they do in their life, family, nothing that they do is Black until they get elected and pushed into these positions. Then they're so Black. It's like the dog and pony shows. I mean, come on, like emotionally pierced. Like people are like little children and they don't want to wake up and realize the real seriousness of what is really going on in the world and the games that they play on people, on your mind, all of us. No matter what race you are, no matter what, there's a game being run on you, and people just can't get out of this dog and pony shows, the bread and circus distractions. People are still talking about Will Smith and the slap, and like I mentioned before, the social ramifications is in your face. People believe that this is real. A lot of people think it's fake. It's just people just fall for these things and they just talk on that low vibrational level, ensnared by all these distractions and these things that are pulling you into systems. So let's talk about systems and the Hegelian dialectic. And one of the main reasons why I want to do this is because of interesting exchange on Twitter. You can see it. I still left it up, where somebody wanted to correct. And I don't take things personally. I'm not coming at it with a certain hostile energy. I'm just going to talk about it. Someone attempted to correct me on Twitter about my use of the Hegelian dialectic, and I already knew where this was going to go. First of all, I didn't need to be corrected. I'm not above illumination or correction. That's why, I'm usually on point when I post, because I'm like Batman. I make sure that I'm prepared and researched anytime I do. So very rarely am I in a position where there needs to be correction or illumination. And that doesn't mean I'm not trying to say I'm great, or I just usually am prepared. And this person was correct, absolutely totally correct from their perspective. But it was a perspective, and did not realize that my perspective and my use of the Hegelian dialectic was not incorrect either. It's just that some people, when they're educated, indoctrinated, when they're educated and, people become protective of, either historical people and the, things, how they were taught it. And they're not really interested in the greater message, which is what is more important. But the Hegelian dialectic, my use of it was not incorrect. And I already knew. It's just like, playing a chess game, you see 6 moves ahead, how this is going to end. I already knew this was going to die on Semantics Boulevard. It was not something that needed to be corrected. And the choice to do it live on Twitter, I knew that was kind of lame. Like, come on. I work with energy. Like, so I know the intention behind, some of these types of stunts. It's not from the purest, good intentions, and like, it's not a charge at the person, and I don't want to scare you if you're listening. I'm not coming at you and attacking you, but I'm very aware of what you did or what you tried. And I knew that it wasn't going to end the way you wanted it to end. I know how these things play out. You were improved right. I was improved wrong. It kind of just, it kind of went where it went because that's where it was going to go. You could see these things. This was not a situation where, I was wrong, you were right, I was wrong, whatever. Sometimes it's good to understand a different side from what you are used to or how you view something. And maybe you can see, hey, we're doing a Hegelian thing right now. We're doing a Hegelian thesis, antithesis. So let's jump into it. So let's talk about the Hegelian dialectic for the, the educated people who are protecting Hegel and the textbook definition of the Hegelian dialectic. It's a method of arriving to compromise, basically, based on thesis. And when you have that thesis or problem or question, it produces an antithesis or, like something to counter the thesis or reaction. And that back and forth eventually produces a synthesis, basically a compromise, a greater truth. And that synthesis in layman's terms, solution. So this is where people are getting the problem, reaction, solution paradigm from. When people talk that way, there's a lot of popular people like David Icke, they go right to the problem, reaction, solution paradigm. But the people who are protecting Hegel and the way you learned it in college, it's not so much problem, reaction, solution. It's, arriving to a greater truth. But it's flawed. The whole thing is flawed. These guys, they're super brainy, but they're not spiritually wise. They're flawed. They're always wrong, including Hegel. He's wrong about so many things. I prefer the Socratic way. If we're talking about philosophers, Socrates was interested in the truth, the ultimate truth, and arriving to that truth with questions, and asking the right questions leads you to the truth. And the truth is what it is. You can have your opinion, you can have your, squabbles down here. That's where Hegel is. He's, compromising bullshit. Socratic ways are better. That's why Socratic methods have been used in science, because it's about truth. It's not the Hegelian, it's already flawed thing. I don't know why people feel so much to protect it. But anyway, let's go back. For the people who care about the Hegelian dialectic, it's about thesis, antithesis, synthesis. And you have, every time you arrive at a synthesis, it becomes the new thesis. A new thesis is brought out of that, where you come back with a new antithesis and you come to a new synthesis. And the objective is to arrive to that ultimate. You're not going to come to truth because Hegel made it and he's wrong. But, I'm just explaining the Hegelian dialectic in the right way, that everyone will be happy. You arrive to that ultimate synthesis, which is the ultimate compromise that has the best outcome in the minds of people who think that way. But it's still the way people are using it now, like popular people, the popular conspiracy theorists, and the way in which I use it is not the textbook way that it's taught, or it's not the way that it was meant to work, but it is the way that it is. It's the way that the system, the same methodology has been manipulated. And it's just that, the people who speak on this the way I do, we don't care to educate people on the way it should work and the way Hegel designed it, because that's irrelevant to the point that we're making. And most people understand that, but here we are. But in the Hegelian dialectic is the paradigm of problem, reaction, solution. And this is used, the Hegelian dialectic is used to control you. And when people talk about the Hegelian dialectic, I guess I understand that it makes people who are, I don't know, teachers or whoever, they get frustrated that it's not being explained in the right way, but we don't care. It's not the point. It's not the point. The problem, reaction, solution is being used, and used strategically when you have a system that manufactures this thesis and already has a designed synthesis waiting in the wings, a deliberate, by controlling the variables. And this is the manipulation of the Hegelian dialectic process, which is what people talk about when, people like myself, and I'm not going to stop. It didn't require being corrected publicly, live on Twitter. It's just like, when you have a difference of opinion of the way it was taught and the way it was meant, we can just peaceably, see each other's perspective. Oh, I get it. And I get where that person's coming from. And like I said, we can still talk. I get where you're coming from. You're protecting, when you learn things from different philosophers and teachers or historical people throughout history, when you're educated and you kind of stuck on things the way you learned it. But, you can understand different people and from people who have different angles, and just respect it and let it be, man. Let it be. It's not that serious, but I'm not incorrect. And, it didn't deserve the attempt at public correcting. Okay, that's not what happened, and 3 exchanges in, it's like when you're playing tic-tac-toe and you already see the outcome when 2 players, they can't move anymore. That's what happened. And I knew that, but it's like, okay, let's do this. But anyway, the Hegelian dialectic, how is it being played on us? So many different ways. The Hegelian dialectic, that's okay. The government, for example, always wanted to remove the guns from the people. All throughout history, we've known that very well. What are one of the ways in which they've been doing it in modern times? Force false flags to orchestrated events. Guns. Everybody's talking about guns. There's shootings. And a lot of people don't know that a lot of these things are false flags. A lot of these things are orchestrated, set up by intelligence agencies, but that's too above people's ability to digest. Because we live in a world of normies that don't want to believe anything, and anytime you tell them something true, it's conspiracy theorists and they freeze. The matrix chip shorts them out, and then they can't operate. Malfunction, But it's real. This has been going on. This happens. Something actually happened in New York. I'll get today. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah. So they get everybody talking. So the problem is, there's people with guns and they just want to go around and shoot everybody. Oh my God, whatever shall we do? And they play it up in the news, show you the bodies, show you the, well, they never really show you the bodies because they never have footage for that for some reason. But they show you the reaction. I remember in the 2017, I did a few videos. You should go back and watch those videos on my main channel, Drew Story News. This is Drew Story Podcast. Go back to 2016, 2017. I was covering this stuff, and it falls on deaf ears. But yeah, they show you the people reacting. They don't show you any shooting or anything because they never seem to have that footage. But they show you used to show you a lot of reaction and, crying and people holding each other and running. And that is to get the reaction. So you have the problem and they're harnessing the reaction, the public reaction. And once they keep working that angle through legacy media, through pundits, through the same machine that they do everything with, they are going to provide the synthesis, which was always gun control. We need to get the guns. We need to get the gun. And so they already have the synthesis of okay, we're not going to do like a complete draconian snatching all the guns. We already have the synthesis where we just want gun control. Okay, you can have your guns. We know that it's in the Constitution and it's your right, but we just want to control it a little bit. We just want to, well, you can have your gun, but you just don't need that gun. You don't need this gun. You don't need, they want to control. And it's an already pre-planned, compromised synthesis that they want everyone to be like, okay, even the gun advocates, even the liberal brainless banshees that just want to be safe all the time. They want to wear the mask. They want to be safe. They don't want to catch COVID. Oh my God, they need the government. I'm sorry. I'm going to try not to be, obnoxious, but sometimes this stuff is a little frustrating, dealing with liberal mindset. But they want the government to keep them safe. They fall into every trap. Blue team. And the synthesis is gun control, not a draconian snatching all the guns. It's just like, can we agree? Can you give the government, we love you. The government loves you. Can you just give us that first down that we've been inching? Can we just put the tip in? And the liberals, they love it. They want it. Yes, please take the guns. We need to be safe. Never know what the hell is going on, So, yeah. So there's that. The Hegelian Dialectic with the ailment that we just went through. Okay. It's no secret now. It's pretty much known that the vid was created in a lab. So this is a created thing. And it is known that the sequence of this thing could not have occurred in nature. And they admit that to us now. They tell us that. It did not occur in nature. It was born out of a lab. So they created the problem. And it went rampant and it got out and the legacy media showed you bodies and showed you things. A lot of them was fake. I actually was one of the people, of the many people that was censored and shut down, trying to say, what they're showing you on TV is not true. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, or not that that's a bad label. It's been demonized, but I'm just saying that what they're showing you is not true. Here's the proof. They would knock our videos down. They would knock our blogs down. They would prevent us from speaking and showing you. One of those things, some of the things they had to admit to, like in New York City, they were showing you footage from Italy with bodies because, they paid a lot for the theater and the scene, the crisis actors. So they were sharing the footage and they faked that something that happened, that they shot in Italy, because different countries were using the same footage that they manufactured, and they used it in New York, and they were trying to say, CBS actually apologized. There was a lot of slip-ups and things they got caught doing, but the normies kind of normied it out. And out of sight, out of mind. No, let's be afraid together. Let's mask. But yeah, they were doing a lot of things to get the reaction, the public reaction, and they were working the reaction for so long. They implemented the face diaper. They implemented these restrictions. You stand here, you stand here. They were doing this to harness the reaction for the eventual synthesis, which was the you-know-what, the golden you-know-what. And they basically were lying to us and told us life will go back to normal when you bend over and take the synthesis. We have the cure. We have the thing it was all a lie. But that was the use of Hegelian dialectic tactics, and they do this all the time with so many different things. The Hegelian dialectic, Hegel wanted to achieve Aufgehoben, the ultimate synthesis. This is the truth, and they try to do this over and over and over again. They do it in so many different ways. The Will Smith situation, for those who believe that went down, which is most people, people don't understand how there's a price for fame for some people. Like, this is not every celebrity. This is not, this grand thing that every celebrity has to get chipped and no. But there's some people who are on the world stage who there's a price for fame. And there's different deals for different folks who are major players, A-listers. And sometimes it's in their deal. Sometimes they're going to have to pony up with whatever it is they're needed to do, because it's in their arrangement. It's in their very secret arrangement to do what they got to do. It does not make sense for him to have walked up, and he's not, 19-year-old rapper from Philly that just was green. He's a seasoned professional in his 50s. He's been to galas. He's been to wrap-up parties, from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to big screen. He's been to events. He's been all his, for the most of his life at this point, him being in his 50s. He's a seasoned vet. He's a seasoned, polished professional, hobnobbing with the upper crust of Hollywood's elite. He knows how to contain himself. But people believe that he walked up on the stage and slapped his friend, his buddy. He's done a lot of work with Chris Rock. I mean, they're chums, But for whatever reason, that joke that wasn't really that harsh, he had to get up stage and slap, and Chris Rock kind of waited for it, and people believe the bread and circus. So, what comes of that? It's Hegelian dialectic. They're doing this. We live in this world where the Hegelian dialectic is rampantly used, and it's insane. We are not behaving like humans. We are behaving like drones, and everybody has a side. This thesis and antithesis, and no, he's right for protecting his wife, and no, he's wrong because he did it. Just this thesis, antithesis, and we're just swirling in Hegelian dialectic manipulation. And they're coming with synthesis and syntheses. And, he's being punished. We're being manipulated into a culture of this tar and feathering and punishing of people. He's been banned from the Oscars for 10 years. His movies are getting pulled, and we're normalizing this sickness. All these people coming out against Will Smith who don't understand. Poor guy's a Manchurian candidate. He's in a shaming ritual. Him and Jada. It's already automatically cool and okay to make fun of these people who are being tarred and feathered and publicly shamed, and you energetically feel like you're the good people, you pieces of... Okay. Let me contain myself. These people who energetically just participate in a demonic environment, and they have the audacity and the hateful, just the despicable ignorance to think that they are the good people in society participating in this evil of tar and feathering and, taking part of public lynchings. And you get to bear all your sins on this guy. whoever they drag next and throw him up. Yeah, he's the bad guy. He did all these things. Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, whoever. Who's R. Kelly, who's getting released soon, probably. Because it's going to be revealed that, yeah, even R. Kelly, they brought him up on racketeering charges that they should not have. They kind of cooked this thing up. He didn't really do anything that Mick Jagger didn't do. Ted Nugent did. All of them did the same stuff. But they grabbed him. They didn't really have a case. Yeah, he slept with young girls. I've never denied that. I've never defended him for that. But I'm a defender of the law, and I'm I'm against this hypocritical, racist system that kind of jumps on some people and leaves others alone. I'm not saying like, you know what, when you get somebody when you have a case on them, when you make the things up, and you just kind of make up some racketeering BS. No, none of us should be standing by that, but we're too emotional and willfully stupid in this society. We just sit there eating chips, watching the brainwashing propaganda machine, and, we get pulled into Hegelian dialectic manipulation. So yeah, I digress. What was I talking about? Yeah, he's being shamed. He's being publicly shamed, but you're being pulled into a culture. And a lot of people don't even realize it. You don't have an opinion. A lot of people don't know anything. As Noam Chomsky said, people don't know what they don't know. Noam Chomsky, who actually eventually became an evil globalist, farmer pushing, I don't know what happened to him. That saying, you live long enough to be the villain. He wrote very, very, his books were very, very good reads about exposing the system and how it works, legacy media, government, and then he just turned into a government-supporting pro-pharma shill. But, I want to believe maybe it's his age and the fear porn and, your mortality when they push this, vid propaganda. People come at it from different perspectives. So yeah, Hegelian dialectic. They pulled us into this world where, you're being manipulated every step of the way, and people are addicted to the BS. I try to protect my energy, and there's different ways of protecting your energy. So let's talk about protecting your energy. I try to keep my spirit pure. I try to keep my spirit clean and not judge people and let people to live and let live. But it's very difficult when I'm from New York, but I'm out in Florida right now. And in a state where you don't have to, do this, they're walking around with this. And I'm just looking at these people like, and it's frustrating to me. And I'm like, you know what? If they want to do it, it makes them feel safe. Let them do it. But the problem with that is it impacts my life indirectly because it's because of these people, these sheep, these mindless, subservient sheep that believe everything that they're told is what keeps the whole machine running over us, trampling over us. They just put out in the news, they're getting you ready. They're getting you ready because they're not done. They're putting it out there. They're just throwing it out. And they do the same thing since they started this thing in 2019. We're just going to put it out there and let people marinate with it. They're already hinting towards we're an extension of these and planes and trains. It's not related to cases. It's never been related to cases. Nobody cares about the vid right now. And it's not deadly. It's not, it's pretty much, old news, but they're still trying to hold on to the agenda. They're still trying to, without scientific justification for anything that they're doing. They knew they needed to drop the mandate stuff because there's no scientific justification. There's too many of us unjabbed who are doing better in all health categories. They can't hide that anymore. That's the truth, by the way. That's truth. They tricked us. Not me, but they tricked us. And they lied every step of the way. And some of us bought the lies and believed the lies and sprang into action early. A lot of us felt that they were coerced, but you were not. You always had a choice. And I was very active during this time because I was trying to plead with people because I really want the best. I love people. When you vibrate high, you have a love for humanity. Even people who don't really like you or don't agree with what you're saying, you still don't want things that these demonic, psychotic psychopaths planned. You don't want them to achieve it and get you. I rather you think I'm a conspiracy theorist, but you don't harm yourself. You don't mess with your DNA. You don't know what they were up to. You don't know what they were up to. And to mindly, all of a sudden, the government, I didn't know that this was hanging in the whole time. Sorry about that. Hanging in the shop. That must be annoying. But, all of a sudden the government were the good guys. The government and Big Pharma were the good guys keeping us safe. They loved us. Like, I don't know what happened to the mind of a lot of people. And it became very frustrating to live through this, trying to sound the alarms and beat the drums and wake people up. And, there's just so many sheep that just couldn't be woken up. And fear has crippled a lot of people, has crippled their judgment. Propaganda has crippled their judgment. They just believe whatever they see on television. And it doesn't matter. It could be Will Smith, whatever it is. People just believe what they see on TV. Today in the news, again, I'm from New York. This morning, in the middle of rush hour, New York City, a masked gunman set off detonated explosives and shot a bunch of people, unnamed people, by the way, and he got away. This is your CIA subsidized news stories. And so what's going to come? They're going to play this up. New developments. Maybe they find the guy. Maybe they won't. But they're going to just play this up. New developments. And they're going to harness the reaction. And this is for reaction and distraction. Reaction. Maybe there's going to be a synthesis proposed because they're still doing the same thing that didn't work before, like scaring people with gun. They never achieved what they wanted. So I don't know. Maybe the strategy is just to keep on doing it till we finally just get dumbed down to the point where it's like, okay, give us gun control, take our guns. Or this is just distraction or all of the above. But like, I'm from New York. And these things that they're showing you are things that cannot be achieved. Things that just not. I am from New York, and I got grabbed once by going over a turnstile because I was running. I was late. I don't do things like that. I have plenty of. I'm good. I was going. I had to get somewhere, and there's a cop waiting. So they want you to believe that a masked gunman detonated explosives and shot people, killed no one, but shot a bunch of people, bang, loud gun sound, and he got away. And people believe whatever they're shown and told on TV, But yeah, protecting your energy. I write some notes sometimes to go off of what I want to talk about. And I do usually like to shift away from the news and shift away from the current events and shift away from the, whatever, or the stake of what I was talking about to get to a spiritual message. And we are living in a time. Here's the spiritual side of the podcast. We're living during a time of a global shift, and I try to keep these podcasts balanced because you have different crowds. You have different people who are interested in different things. You have one crowd who's just interested in the politics or the current events or the celebrities, and you have a lot of people who drop off when you start talking about the spiritual stuff because they're just not spiritual. They're on a very, very low vibration. I hate to tell you, it doesn't matter if you're spiritual or not. This stuff is real. It's just, and they think of this stuff as like new agey stuff, and that's ironic because this is not new. This is stuff that's been around for thousands of years and known by people for thousands of years. But they've throughout the centuries they worked people away from this stuff. And they've got you living a low vibrational, dumbed down life where they're spraying things in the sky, they're pumping things in the water, they're putting things in your food, they're programming you through legacy media, through television, TV. They're dumbing you down, and they're giving you the bread and the circus and the sports. I can't sit at a bar and somebody comes next to me. They don't want to talk about, hey, Drew, well, they don't know my name. You ever thought about why we're here? You ever, look at the sun? You ever wonder what the point of? They don't have like they don't have a lot of depth to what they want to talk about. They'll watch a game and they just want to talk about, LeBron, blah, 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 blah. I'm not down there. I'm not down there. This is why I don't really enjoy myself when I go out sometimes. It's like, the vibrational level. I used to fit in. I don't fit in anymore. And I used to drink heavily to fit in and just like lower my vibration. And to this day, like I associate having a drink with like bringing myself down so I can stop thinking, so I can vibrate down and just kind of have a little fun. So I'm still like going back and forth with that. But yeah, people are living a very low vibrational existence right now. So I'm sorry if the spiritual stuff doesn't interest you. It doesn't mean that it's not true. It is true. It's just that vibrationally they've got you so down there that you don't care to hear it. It irritates you. And that's how vibrational energy works. If you're not at a certain vibration, things are going to irritate you. It's like, I'll give you an example. Let's just say this a whole low vibe crowd that they're just down there and they just want to have sex, and they're lusty and they want to do drugs, and they're doing drugs, and they're just in a motel, they're just smoking and drinking and sniffing and doing drugs, and they just want to do drugs and have sex, and they're in that world. And then somebody from with a different energy, it's just like, yo, come on, open the blinds. What's going on? Like, nobody wants to go for a run. And like, no, put that out. Like, somebody that's just clean, doesn't want to drink, doesn't want to smoke. Like, they're just messing up the vibe. It's like, get that guy out of there. That's kind of how this spiritual stuff works. It's like, some people don't understand that this stuff is not wrong or incorrect. It's just like, you're not at a vibrational level to level up to it. It's the way. Like the Mandalorian, this is the way. And it's just been taken from you. So a lot of people just, I don't want to hear that new agey crap. That's where they are. They want to eat their hormone pumped steaks and their cheese doodles and, then drink the fluoridated, drugged up products and stuff and just stay watching sports. But like, there is a spiritual component to everything. We are energetic creatures. We're very powerful people, entities. And, the world will change for the better when more people level up to that realization and stop shunning this sort of conversation. But we're in the middle of a global shift. And some refer to a vibrational curriculum, soul resonance. And we're raising our vibration. There is a paradigm shift. That's why things are so polarizing, because you see people on one hand, everything is split. And I did a video on that on this channel about the split. You see the split. Everybody sees something different because some of us are waking up and some of us are not. They're still stuck. Everything is, oh man, wear the mask. I don't want to wear the mask. Like, no, don't you see the government is trying to make you do this? And then the other people who are sheep, like, no. Everything is polarized now. And then you like Ketanji Brown, like people are like clapping, yeah, like, and other people are like, no, don't you see the hustle? Don't you see the game? She's not for you. She works for them. She's just there as its symbolism to keep you emotionally ensnared, thinking that, there's progress in the system when you're more powerful outside of the system, taking one of you and putting you in because they look like you. That's empty. And there's people who just don't want to wake up. And there's a lot of people on the liberal side of the fence clapping and applauding. They're still in the circus. They're still stuck in the public theater. The slap. Some people are in the vibrational level where they don't think anything else but other than what they see. They're on that vibrational, low vibrational. Will Smith walked on stage and slapped. And then there's other people. Pfizer sponsored this, and it's strange that he just walked up there and it's a little over the top. Like, there's other people who are thinking. There is a shift where people are waking up and we're battling each other because some people are staying down and some people don't want to wake up and they don't want to raise their awareness because vibrationally they're not there. They can't handle it and they don't want to go up. They don't want to wake up. And there's just a shift. Everything is polarizing now because of the shift. What we believe, we're fighting on different teams because what they are trying to do is keep us down. And then they're distracting. I couldn't believe that they came out with another shooting in New York City. Like, they're throwing everything at us. And they're doing everything in their power to stop this mass awakening. There is a mass awakening. This vid situation has woken so many people up. But just as much as there's people waking up, realizing, wait a minute, I don't trust what they tell me on TV anymore because it's common sense. It's intelligence. It's critical thought. Wait a minute. We live in a corporatocracy where everything that's told to me is told to me through corporate entities that approve and edit and doctor the information because they want to shape how I think and what I believe. And it is always to support something that they want. They guide us like sheep. And a lot of people are waking up to the system like, wait a minute. They're learning to question things. They're learning to think on a higher level. And there's a other half of society that are just stuck down there. They're getting more sheepy. They're getting more following the rules. I'm going to get my 18th booster, and you're seeing people separate because some people are going up, and other people, for whatever reason or reasons, it's not for me to judge. That it may perhaps it's just not in their life cycle or their charts to wake up in this cycle. And I'm learning to check myself and not judge that, and not judge them. It's frustrating as hell because it's just like, it's being the same age and you're just on calculus level and they're still like, 2 + 2 is 4. And you're like, come on. Spiritually, you got to let people be where they're at. It's probably not in their life cycle. It's not in their charts. And I still have a lot to learn. I have to, to channel that. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean for people? Like, why can't they wake up to they have the same potential, but, it's really a challenge to live and let live. And it's like, be patient with people. And it's not your job to make everybody see what you see. It's not your job. And a lot of us have to live with the frustration of sharing the information gets you ostracized. It's like Plato's allegory of the cave. What happened? They were prisoners in the cave, and all they knew was the shadows in the cave, the shadows on the wall. The fire was behind them, and they were in that position their entire lives. So their whole reality was based on the shadows that they saw on the wall. Oh, that's a horse. That's a this. That's a that. One day, a man got out of the cave and discovered the real world. And it blew his mind. He almost lost his mind. He couldn't handle it. It was maddening, but he survived the emotional toll of actually it's equivalent of enlightenment. He woke up to the real world. He escaped the cave and he saw things behind the scenes of, the manipulate. He saw them being manipulated down there. He saw the real birds. He saw the real horses. He saw the real world. And he tried to come back down and tell the other prisoners, and then they're like, what the hell are you talking about? Look at here, there he goes with his conspiracy theory. It's like, this is what we're living in right now. People are on a vibrational level where they don't see the man behind the curtain. And they live and they prance around in the puppet shows. And when you step forward to speak truth, you get ostracized, you get made fun of, you get ridiculed, you get called names and conspiracy theorists by the majority. Because the majority of people, for lack of a more tactful way to say it, are clueless. And this is just the reality of what we live, of the world we live in. So we have to protect our energy and learn how to live our own experience and, deal with ourselves at the level that we are at. Amongst high vibrational people, they're not exempt. What I'm seeing a lot of with higher vibrational people is like a lot of them fall victim to projecting their belief systems and their experiences and their projections onto other people. And, that's something for them. They're at a different level of the game where they have to worry about different things. There's people who are just victims of their own perception and they keep projecting. They don't know how powerful their mind is. And when you're a young Jedi and a young Padawan and your mind is really freaking out of control and you just can't stop yourself from assuming and projecting things that are not real and not respecting someone else's life path and prerogative. They don't owe you anything. Why are you expecting this from this person? Why are you demanding this from this person? Live your own life, do your own thing, and stop projecting onto other people. A lot of high vibrational source players do that a lot because we all have to graduate from the level that we are at. We all have to grow and graduate. We're all at different levels. We have to worry about different things. High vibrational people have to worry about projection and assuming and constant, some people who live in expectations and demand things and think they're owed things from this person when no, all that's not real. This is all an illusion. You're making it all up. So go sit down. Stop complaining. There's better ways to focus your energy on different things, manifest different things. And, but yeah, I'm going to come back in a different video to focusing on some other things. But yeah, I just wanted to jump in there and talk about some of the issues that going on today. Look out for that in the news today. The CIA subsidized news, the New York mystery masked man that is blowing up the place and shooting everybody, and he ran away and he got away. And the legacy media's attempt to pull you down vibrationally. Keep tricking you. They're coming again with the face diaper. They're trying to get you to accept that it's on the rise again. We can't take this away. They don't want to let the fear porn go. They're going to keep coming at you with that. And ultimately, people, no matter where you are vibrationally, we have to stop complying with the beast. Learn how to think critically in your own mind. Wake up from their program. No, you don't need this. And a lot of people got mad at me and probably unsubscribed because they're so chained. They're like in the Plato's cave. They need the mask, and they can't take it off. And, they don't want to hear someone thinking outside of the cave. This is the world that's coming. There's a shift. You have to look at what side of the shift you are. Are you down there or are you going up? And we all have to make that, choice for ourselves. All right. Anyway, that's enough for this podcast. I'll be coming back shortly. In just a minute, I catch another break. This is the first moment I had where I wasn't working. I pulled a two-nighter, actually. I was working nonstop, but I wanted to jump in here. I don't want to leave you guys without talking because I'm really moved by some of the emails, I don't know what you call them. Some of them from Twitter, some of them from Instagram, whatever, messages that, people look forward to hearing your perspective because, left out in the world, normies, like they need to hear someone, okay. So I'm trying my best. To keep it coming. And I have a Patreon, by the way. I'll post that in the links. So yeah, guys, be well, vibrate up, and I'll see you in the next one.